John.
Makualani oe Kauai eku aku kamauna kieki oe Makualani oe Kauai oe e kumu ka mea hanai na Makualani oe Kauai oe e kumu ka mea hanai na mea e
All right. Go ahead. Nothing.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Was that beautiful?
What a gift that
just like,
is.
what a gift, right? So grateful. Thank you. Every time you do perform a hula for us, it's just like so heartfelt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai. I feel so relaxed right now. And for those of you online who don't know us, I'm Rev Rita.
Reverend Patrick?
Yeah, we're here at a Science of Mind and Spirit Center where we practice the science of mind and spirit. And we're spiritual beings. That's what we are. We are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, having a spiritual experience according to our use of the law, the spiritual law of cause and effect. I think that's the simple way to say what we practice, and what we believe is that what we put out, what comes back to us, and that everything is spiritual. And sometimes we forget that in a world of form because we look out and we just see what we see, and we don't realize that behind it all is spirit, and spirit changes because it makes things out of itself. And that's what we're all doing every single solitary moment. So welcome here to Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai.
And as we were talking about this morning, that's what it takes us a little bit longer, is because we look out and we see only this. We were just talking about that in the car. We see only form. And we see that, and we call it invisible, and they say, well, we can't see it. Well, that's why it's invisible. But it's invisible made visible. Yes, Diane? Oh, you had a question mark on your face. It's okay, but I'm here to let you know exactly. Yeah, good. First of all, hello, welcome, everyone. It's just one of those beautiful days where it's just living in the moment, living in the beautiful moment. And everyone out there, I want to say hi to Ray and Sherry and Tom and Sue Wood and Peggy Jerry. They're all in quarantine because they took a little trip. And we all know the rules. You come back, and it's how many days? 14. Not yet.
Oh, no. Oh, it's not.
She was hoping that she could get out for the 10, but she's gone Wednesday, 14. So here we are. But we know something besides all quarantine and all that, because in reality, since it's all mental, that's where we go anyways. We go into ourselves to figure out just exactly what is happening. And I know something about you. Yes, we do. Is there anybody here for the very first time? I bet there's somebody on that line for the very first time because we know something about you. Shall we all just jump in and let them know? You are magnificent. And we know that why, since you've been here long enough. I don't know.
Because we know it about
Because we know it about ourselves. Boy, this is going to be a hard group today. Woo, starting out good. All I know is that this is who we are, and we are mirrors for one another. Let's just, you know the drill. Put it on your heart. A lot of feeling behind this one today. Shall we say who we are? I am magnificent. Now get out of my face. You guys tell each other who you are. I am magnificent. You're magnificent. Peter's magnificent. I know that for sure.
You're praying it, right?
Yes. Oh, and I'll be right in the middle of that magnificent song, you know. Okay, we're going to start out with this beautiful, beautiful opening song with Jeremy and Amy.
Well, I woke up early this morning. And I could see that the dawn was nigh. So I started doing some yoga. You know, it made me feel so high. And when I lay down in Shavasana, well, I could feel the sun in the sky. And I knew that the time had come now to go down to the ocean for a ride. Morning bliss when the sun comes rising from the sea. Morning bliss when you wake up smiling next to me. Morning bliss when I'm loving everything that I see. Feeling a new beginning rising up inside of me. Morning bliss when the sun comes rising from the sea. Morning bliss when you wake up smiling next to me. Morning bliss when I'm loving everything that I see. Feeling a new beginning rising up inside of me. Hey.
So rising up inside of me in this wonderful divine moment is spirit and only spirit. To feel that blissful energy, that divine frequency that is each and every one of us. And what I know in this moment is that we have all come together as community, as Ohana. We have come together as spiritual beings, having that wonderful spiritual experience. And whatever it is that is needed to be known today is known. Whatever is needed to be felt is felt right here in this moment. And as that beat continues on and on, I know that today, at this time of this celebration, that there is a absolute claiming of the good for not only for us, but for this entire planet, for this entire universe. We are not alone. We are one with Spirit. And with that, I am so grateful to share this time with you, to share this blissfulness with each and every one of us right here and now. And I just let that be so, as together we say, and so it is.
Morning bliss when the sun come rising from the sea. Morning bliss when you wake up smiling next to me. Morning bliss when I'm loving everything that I see. Feeling a new beginning rising up inside of me. I'm feeling a new beginning rising up inside of me. feeling the new beginning rising up inside of me.
Wow. And that was an original?
Yes.
Yes, you're just writing songs for us every week.
Blissful.
That's why you're spoiling us. That's awesome.
You are spoiling us.
Yeah. Come on up. Don't leave me yet. Okay. So we want to invite Reverend Walt to join us.
That would be when I sit down now.
He is going
Today's
to...
quite an interesting day so far.
He's going to lead us in our affirmation, and then we will move into our meditation. And he's right here, ready to go. Okay, there you go, sir.
Oh, you want to sit?
Good morning. Continuing with bliss,
No, you sit there.
I will read our affirmation, and then you'll be able to respond 3 times with me again. I follow my bliss. I experience my bliss. I become my bliss. Together, I follow my bliss. I experience my bliss. I become my bliss. I follow my bliss. I experience my bliss. I become my bliss. And finally, I follow my bliss. I experience my bliss. I become my bliss.
Thank you, Reverend Walt. So today, I believe, is the 3rd day of Hanukkah. So as we lit our candle today, let's just keep in mind that light that never goes out, that light that burns within us, that is a light of peace, a light of love, and something we can always rely on. So let's just take a moment for that, right here, right now. Thank you, Reverend Walt, for taking us further into contemplation.
As we continue this morning, I share a thought from Parker Palmer, who wrote, "Every journey honestly undertaking stands a chance of taking us towards the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. Every journey honestly undertaken stands a chance of taking us toward the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need." I encourage you now to take those thoughts into contemplation. Every journey, honestly undertaken, stands a chance of taking us towards the place where our deep gladness meets the world's great need. And as we continue in the spirit of contemplation, I invite you to join me now as we do our spiritual mind treatment. On this beautiful day in Kauai, on this morning filled with so much wonder and possibility, I know that there is only one power, one presence, one spirit, one mind in this world. And that which is all is perfect love, perfect light, and perfect substance. And it is me. It is God in me, living, breathing, expressing, loving, being. And as I yield myself to the Spirit within, I express without, with love towards others. And what I know for myself, I know for each person gathered here in this room at Center for Spiritual Living Kauai and online, that essence, that energy, that spirit is who we are. And knowing this, there are unlimited possibilities in my life. We are each here by divine appointment, and our lives unfold perfectly in divine order, divine purpose, and divine direction. I know this in the area of my finances, that I don't have just enough to get by. I have more than I need. I have abundance, overflowing, not only in material things, but in all the blessings of life. I know that my friendships are divine friendships, that each person in my life now and each person who will come into my life in the future is there for a reason to share love and light in this world. I know that my body, though some days I wake up and it just doesn't feel right, I know that I am a spiritual being, and that my body, my organs, my mind, everything that makes up this physical being of mine is perfect. And that which needs to be healed is healed, because it is God in me doing the healing. And I know that as I express myself creatively, whether it be in hula or music or writing or service, that which I do has purpose and meaning and unfolds perfectly and makes my life truly wonderful and meaningful. So for all these things that I know in my life, I know for each person here, and my heart is just filled with so much gratitude. I give thanks as I release my word into the law, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God, as we affirm together. And so it is.
Perfection of peace.
prayed up. Thank you, Reverend Walt, for that absolutely amazing treatment. That was like really meant a lot. Thank you. And thank you for that beautiful song. Yeah, and I loved when you said in your treatment, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I have to remind myself, basically. And I think that's to me what today is all about, is reminding ourselves, because just because we follow what we call the science of mind and spirit and we do our best to practice it and to keep our minds firm and on point as far as, our health and our finances and the things we bless every day, our creativity and our loving relationships, we do fall off sometimes, or we do think things that are not in our highest. But the most important thing is to remind ourselves. And I know that's what we do here every Sunday, but it's not enough on Sunday. We have to remind ourselves, sometimes a lot. And it's because, which brings me to today, is because we live in one mind. As Emerson said, there's one mind common to all people. And we're all sharing in that mind. And that's why we titled today's talk, The Potluck of the Mind. Because there's lots of spicy stuff in there. Some of it that we might not want to have, and some of it that we want to embrace, and some of it that we want to give, and some of it that we don't want to give or shouldn't actually be contributing. So if you know anything about potlucks, and I didn't know this before I looked it up, is that the word originally comes from, it was showing up at someone's house, and you just had to kind of accept what was at the table. It was like, we call it the luck of the pot. So if somebody showed up at somebody's house for dinner and they were having whatever they were having, that was what you'd have rather than a planned menu. And then it got, went into the idea of a communal pot where everybody, remember the story of stone soup, right? I love that story. So, but it wasn't until the 19th and 20th century, apparently in America, that it was the idea that everybody brings a dish. And I don't come from Hawaii originally, so I come from, New York, and we didn't really have potlucks, which is interesting. Or maybe it was just my house because my father and mother were controlling, but they wanted to cook everything. But I didn't really get to a potluck until I started moving west. So it must be like, I don't know. And I moved about as far west as I'll probably go. But as we know, we're like all into potlucks on Hawaii, except for recently, we haven't had as many of them, if any at all. And the ones at the center, we haven't been able to have because of that. But what I did learn, and I never knew this, that in 2011, in the state of Minnesota, the legislature passed the Church Lady Law. The Church Lady Law, which exempted faith-based groups from health inspections. I know, right? Because if you went to a restaurant, they have health inspections. But apparently, in a church, when they're serving food, they don't have to be subject to it. Now, I don't know if that's just in Minnesota or if it's all over maybe it did pass on. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. So, I'm getting through the little light stuff here that I looked up because it was fun. So in this rules of the potluck, it said, don't show up with a bag of groceries and cook from scratch and drive your hostess crazy or host. Just make sure that you bring it all ready. And don't expect your host to give you serving bowls or utensils. Bring your own and label them. Wow, this is getting really strict now. It's starting to... and then if you don't like to cook, bring a bottle of wine or pizza or whatever. And then he goes, if you're worried about food safety, just eat before you come. Because the real thing about potlucks is that it's the company and it's the people and the community and the ohana that you share during a potluck. So I don't know what kind of potluck person you are, but I've been in potlucks where they just say, we do them here. We go, we started trying to assign people, but never seemed to work out because nobody really wanted us to commit. Or maybe they like to just cook in the moment or something. So they would they say, everything's going to turn out perfect. And we did that in one of our prac classes once. And I think it was actually our very first prac class. Maybe they remember when everybody showed up with a cheese dish. So anyway, Or you could be one of those bossy organizers that just tells everybody exactly what they're supposed to bring. So what does this all have to do with spirituality? It's a great metaphor, right? Because we are constantly putting on a potluck. And we're constantly inviting people to our table. We're constantly going to people's tables with whatever we have to offer. And if there's one mind common to all people, and if it's a mental universe, then we have to be a little careful about what we decide to bring to the potluck. So we have something called our objective mind, which is our conscious mind. Maybe it's like our neocortex, whatever, the part of ourselves that's conscious and makes choices. And then we have another part of our mind. It's the same mind, but it's the way we use it, which is our subconscious. And usually our subconscious, well, I would say all the time, our subconscious is basically ruling our life. What we've placed in there is, and what we accept from others, what we decide to hold on to or not hold on to, what's put there by our parents or our upbringing, is there and is working in our lives. So sometimes when things are showing up in our life and we don't understand where they came from, we can pretty much maybe not find out where they came from, but we can change it. That's the beautiful thing about life. And I know we're celebrating the third day of Hanukkah today, and one of the things I read, like the most important thing about that story too, is the rebuilding, that they rebuilt their temple. They rebuilt it. And we have a temple called our mind. And in New Thought, we can constantly rebuild it. We're not stuck with what our parents taught us. If we don't want to be stuck with that, we might want to. Some parents teach us wonderful things. Or the things that have been told to us. We can decide, because we're choice-filled beings, what we want. So in the Science of Mind text, Ernest Holmes says about our subconscious, it's a seat of memory that contains a remembrance of everything that has ever happened. It contains the family and the race characteristics. It might be compared to a picture gallery, upon whose walls are hung the pictures of all people whom the individual has ever known and all incidents which he has ever experienced. And it even goes beyond that. It's the collective conscious. Anybody that's studied Jung and all of that, it's the collective, it's everything that's ever been thought. That's why there's no time. It's like, it's all in the present moment. It's all happening in the present moment, and it's all available to us. So if we want the mind that Lincoln had is there. We can tap into anything that we want because all that intelligence is there. I mean, this is like scientific. And like I said, we take from it, we give to it, and then we draw from it what we're in sympathy with. That's why you have to be careful about sympathy. Empathy. But not used in the sense as I have empathy for a person. But what we're like vibrating at, like whatever that is, that's what we're drawing to us. Or we're sending away the things we say we want, we're sending them away because we're vibrating at a different level. So the most important thing is to work on our vibration, work on our mental attitude, work on and it's not just about thinking it, it's about feeling it. So if you're really in deep empathy with something or putting a lot of energy towards something that you don't want to be part of your life, then you need to shift. And like I said, because we can shift anytime we want, it might take a little practice, and it's easy to get drawn into the things like Patrick was saying, I think you said last week, that the thing that rages most and goes viral most is anger. And it's easy to get caught in that. I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes at night I have to do what Walt was saying, remind myself that that's not the way I think. Why am I picking that up right now? Okay, well, maybe it's in this one mind, this one thing, and I'm in for some reason in sympathy with that or empathy right now. So I need to go in, and that is what our teaching teaches: is that we're always at choice. We can always decide what we want to bring to the table and what we want to take from the table. We don't have to just, or we can randomly just allow, and that's called the law of averages, which is like whatever shows up for me, shows up for me. But I don't think the people in this room think that way. I think we're more conscious of what we want in our lives and what we choose not to experience and what we choose to experience. And it's just a matter of not getting disappointed or what's the word? Losing faith if it doesn't happen right away. To know that think about it. Like for myself, I didn't come to this teaching until I was well into my late 40s. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I was believing that I had to shift and change and start to believe, because it is all belief. It's all belief. If you don't have to believe that. If you don't believe it, that's fine too. But we are our beliefs. We're not our thoughts. We're our beliefs. And our beliefs is what, if anything needs to change, it's our beliefs. And to believe that we can change our belief is like where it all starts. Because some people think they can't. They think they're stuck with it. But that's not true. I know, because I've experienced changing my beliefs. Does it mean that the belief's not there? And you wake up in the morning and your body doesn't feel good, and then you want to go, oh, well, I'm getting old, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and you start rattling off all the things that, or are you willing to say, you know what? Maybe it is a little bit, but you know what? I choose to believe something different about myself. I choose to believe that I'm vibrant, filled with health, and that I'm living my life fully. And I can handle anything that comes in my path, and because I'm a spiritual being. And so you start self-talking yourself that way instead of going down the other way, which sometimes we do because it's easy to get caught. I don't know why it's so much easier to get caught in the negativity, but it is easier to get caught in it for whatever reason. But it doesn't have to, well, I do know why. It's because we're not trained. And it does take training, and we know that from all the quantum physicists and neuroscientists or whatever they are, whoever they are these days, that are telling us that it takes practice. You have to practice it, or you'll just sink into the hole. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to sink into that hole. And I work on it, and I feel like I have a much better life because of it. And when something does come up, I can handle it better because I have a thought process behind it, a belief system behind that lets me know that whatever it is, I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to get through it lovingly and kindly and healthfully, and I'm just going to get through it. The right people are going to show up for me. They're going to support whatever it is I need right now. When people have health issues, and I say, well, I hope I get the right doctor, and I hope this, and I hope I get the right treatment. You don't hope, you know. You know that you are, because you're fully supported. When the universe puts a demand on itself, it meets the demand. So if that's a situation that you're in, then we have to know that everything's coming in to support us. Everything, because we've claimed it, and that's what we've decided. So think about your mental atmosphere after you leave here today and what you want to change about it, or maybe not. Maybe you love your mental atmosphere and you feel like it's like, I always think about, what was that character in Peanuts? The one that had a little thing, he had like carrying around. Like, you don't want to carry that around, right? Well, Pigpen, it was Pigpen, but it was always like he was always walking. There was all this crap around him. I'm like, no, you don't want to have that, right? So, and also, do you have, like, sometimes when you go to a potluck, you bring the thing that you love to make, and, and everybody's expecting that from you. It's the thing you make. Do you have a signature dish in your mind? Like, do you have something that you bring to the table, like that's you? And is it delicious? I want to know that it's delicious, and that you're bringing that to my table when I come, or to whoever's table. And one other thing is, like, what we say is really important. I know for myself, people have said things to me that I've had to take years to let go of. Why is that? The same reason. Like, we just believe sometimes the things that aren't necessarily serving us. Like, what do they say? Like, somebody could say a million great things to you, and then just the one thing that sticks in your mind is the one thing that somebody said. I know, right? She's growing. I don't know if you were actually groaning or what. So I love the Buddhist thing, is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? If you can answer all three of those questions, say it. If you can't, don't say it. Might make a very quiet conversation, but I know I don't always do that. I can get caught in this stuff, and there's surely a lot of it going around lately, right? A lot of, well, is that true or not? I don't know. That's why we have to really depend on our intuition. So, and then making the decisions, like saying, when somebody says something to you, you don't have to accept it. You are a choice. We are individuals. We are a choice in every single solitary moment. So if somebody does say something that you don't feel is something you want to accept, you have the right to say, I don't, not, maybe not, you don't have to say it aloud to them. You can be polite, but you have the right to say, I don't accept that, or I don't believe that way. And I think if I had to say anything today, it would be to know that you're always a choice, that you always have a choice of what you put out and what you take back. And I think that this time in our history, this is really important to know this, because we're building something right now and we're all contributing to it. And it's really, really important what we contribute to it. And if it's a mental universe, and I know that it is, then it's even the silence of our thoughts that are felt everywhere. I remembered that story about a person who had been in a car accident, and they had, come out of their body. They ended up coming back, but they heard every thought that everyone was thinking in those cars. Every thought. And some of those thoughts weren't really very nice. But I remembered that once when I was in an accident I wasn't in the accident, but I was caught in an accident on Kuhio Highway. And I was sitting there for hours, and I thought, because there had been a fatality, and I was like, would that person really want to hear me complaining and, saying all this awful stuff? Or should I be sending out love? But that, we don't have to pass to do this. We can do it in every moment. And I know that that's what I'm being called for right now, is to keep my mind in that place and to be a contributor, to bring my best dish to the table, right? And to know that there's a power that makes things directly out of itself by simply becoming the thing it makes. And Dr. Ernest Holmes says, could we but grasp this greatest truth about life and realize that we are dealing with a principle scientifically correct and eternally present, we could accomplish whatever it is possible for us to conceive. So what he's saying is we have to become the thing. We have to become it in order to see it, to be it. We have to be it. So what are we being? Because what we're being is what we're walking around with. So I'm going to read it one more time. There is a power that makes things directly out of itself. That's us. Our life we've created directly out of ourselves, because we couldn't create it any other way. Nobody's creating it for us. We're creating it. By simply becoming the thing it makes, could we but grasp this greatest truth about life and realize that we are dealing with a principle scientifically correct and eternally present, we could accomplish whatever it is possible for us to conceive. I know that's what we're being asked to do right now, starting with our own lives. And as we do it and we contribute that to the one mind and the one consciousness, we're going to see things shifting. We already do see them shifting and changing. And that which thought has done, thought can undo. Never forget that that's why we're called new thought. That's the way I think of it. Because whatever we're thinking, it's coming from our belief. And if, Dr. Joe Dispenza said that if thoughts can make us sick, thoughts can make us well. And we have to remember that. And we're not just talking about physical wellness here. So we're rebuilding right now, just like our Jewish ancestors rebuilt that temple. We're rebuilding a world right now, and we have to pick up all the pieces and just go, oh, what is it that we want to keep? What do we want to let go of? And starting with our own world. So that is what I want to talk about today. So have a great potluck, all right? Since we won't be having one here for a while. Jeremy and Amy, are you ready? Maybe not. Well, at least not next week. Although, who knows?
Season's greetings, everyone. How about a nice deep breath? We're going to invite you to sing partway through the song, okay? Feel free. we'd like to invite you all to sing with us the first verse of Silent Night. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. One more time, silent night. Silent night, peace on earth, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and so let us all sing together in peace on earth.
Now I'm ready to take a little nappy. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I mean, today's energy is like very peaceful. But anyway, not for long. No, it's. Oh my gosh! I just want to take a good look at you. Let me center on you. Let me just bathe and marinate in all of you. Sound good? Yeah. So I don't have a lot to say about potluck because this talk took another turn, as it sometimes does. But I do want to say something about potluck. I actually have the definition that you were going for too. Potluck used in reference to a situation in which one must take a chance that whatever is available will prove to be good or acceptable. Just the way we all want to live our lives, right? And so I grabbed that and I went, I got to redo. There's got to be something. It's like, I don't want to take a chance when I start eating your food. You know what I mean? But I took it a little bit deeper with that, is the idea that for me, there's no such thing as luck. I was raised with this idea that these people are lucky and those people are lucky, and when you're wealthy, they're lucky and you're not, and that's okay, because we were raised exactly the way that they were raised and that they were at, and so that's what they were passing on. So we have to somewhat, even though it takes a few years, get over it. And so no more potluck. I believe that I make my luck, that I allow my luck, and it's even more than make it, allow it. Allow that wonderful abundance that we talk about. But the reason I say I was going on that direction is I was in the car and I was listening to NPR, and I heard this incredible, I can even feel it already vibrate, this incredible interview with a rabbi, Ari Sachs, out of New York, Huntington. And as I was continuing to look at it, listen to it, I just started thinking, and I could feel myself resonating. And usually I don't really try to do, it's kind of like Hawaiian stories. I don't try to go into the Hawaiian story if I really don't know it. You know what I mean? That type, like, I'm going to do Hawaiian for you, but I have no idea. And everybody goes, I don't think he really does know Hawaiian. The same way with Hanukkah. So I'm doing a disclaimer, Ruth. If I go off on any of my details, I don't want the emails like last year. They came in and they went, that wasn't him, that was the other. I was like, just let me tell the story. And this one I really, really want to tell because I really am resonating, and I think we can all gain from the light of this story of Hanukkah. Now, usually I only go as far as it was Alexander the Great and the Greek war and Greeks defaced the temple, and then they put up their gods in their temple, and then the great warrior, and I know this is a fact, Judah. Judah's watching, by the way. Hey, Judah, in Colorado. The great warrior Judah and his followers were able to get to the temple to reclaim it and rededicate it. I love that because I really believe that's where we're at in our lives right now. That we are actually reclaiming a consciousness that has been laying dormant. And we're actually rededicating our lives. And I'm thinking, this is why I was so attracted to this rabbi that was just, and the reason that they had the interview was because of the COVID and that how they had to redo things this year and everybody's having to redo the traditions and how do you do it. But they got in this great conversation. And I love what he said. It has been said over the years, the miracle is not just the excuse me. I forgot my glasses. So it has been said over the years, the miracle is not just the light lasting for 8 nights, but it's the faith of the people to light it the first night. And that's something that really, yeah, you can get my glasses if you want. This is how our marriage, she's been directing me the first part of it, and I'll direct her the last half of the, but really listen to that idea. See, and that's that invisible visible that we've been talking about. It's so great when the 8 candles are lit and you say, woo, miracle. What a miracle. See, I knew it all along. No, actually you did not. You only knew the first night, the first candle lit. That power of that kind of faith, that kind of belief that says, how do I know that this is going to sustain, this little bit of oil is going to sustain? How do I know that my being is going to sustain through all of the inconsistencies that have presented themselves? Yes? Give it to it was nice talking to all of you. I feel like we're at home. I don't care. I just want to see. There we go. That's a. Honey, do you want this one or this? I don't know. It is always perfect. You are perfect. Oh, as I beam that life's Rudolph color red. Okay, so anyway, I want to read it again with feeling. It has been said over the years, the miracle is not just the light lasting for 8 nights, but it is the faith of the people to light it the first night. And wow, that's called trusting the moment. That's called trusting. I've had to do a lot of trusting lately, and it can throw your whole stuff off. And that's okay, because what I'm really learning about throwing your stuff off is that it just makes you very alive. It makes you very, very present. Because you try to get out of it. The first sign of uncomfortability, you try to run for the hills. And so, he was telling a story, and I don't know if I can do it as much justice, but I'm going to give it this. They were talking about other times in history that the Hanukkah candle had to be lit and was not so well received. And he tells a story of Auschwitz. And I want to share that story. At first, when I told Rita, it was just like, oh, wow, let's share that. We were going, yeah, because I believe it's very, very important story. And I want to tell it by not reading it. I want to tell it from the feeling part of it. They talked about when they were in the camps that it was the first night of Hanukkah. And the Nazis being who they were at the time, and I have a little something to say about that as well. But the Nazis thought it would be a good idea to ridicule and take more advantage of the idea, and said, well, did you know it's Hanukkah? Did you know it's Hanukkah? And of course they knew it was Hanukkah. We lit a candle for you. as they looked over at the crematorium that was blasting. Now, this is where I come in with the very important thing. Because, sometimes we don't tell the story because we don't want to feel that incredible heaviness that goes with the story that happened many years ago. And it should. Whatever we're feeling right now, it should feel that. But there's more to the story. And he's saying, look at it. And then they said, we'll give you a little something extra for this holiday. We'll give you an extra loaf of bread and some margarine. And they expected, what are you going to do to somebody that's starving? Throw it. And they were going to be behaving like animals, fighting for that bread. They didn't do that. This is the lesson that I got from it too. Instead of spending all the time going, look at you, look at you, look at you, they said, what can we do? And they took that bread and they took that margarine and they made candles out of that bread. And they found a way with every bit of supply they had to make those candles that even lit. And they put it out so that everyone could see it. Because as we know, the mitzvah, the commandment of Hanukkah is to show off the candle to passerbys. To show, guess what? Not that there's a light going on, but that faith has been known. That faith has now spoken. That faith said, I have overcome death. Because you cannot kill me because I am the light. And I'll take anything that you have, bread, butter, and I will make it into the very light that my belief is. My belief in my one God, my God of Israel, my God within doesn't really matter. We have the opportunity. And this is good news. This is good news. It's probably why my state of mind has been, because I've been really... The petty stuff that I think is so important, I should spend a little time making candles out of bread and butter. That's how I'm looking at it. And there's a joy behind it. There's a joy behind it. I just watched a beautiful movie, Uncle Frank, about a gentleman that never could come out to his family. And he finally does. And there's this one scene that reminded me so much of with the Nazis. And how do you look and not and forgive? How do you do that? You do it because we're made of love. So they could have spent the whole time saying, let's eat the butter, screw you, thank you, God. They could have done that. They said, no, how can we get some light out of this? How can we get some light? And Uncle Frank, in the movie, he goes to his Aunt Butch, which is very funny if you know anything in the gay community. Aunt Butch is a very, very, very big part of this story. And she's the one that nobody wants to be around, right? She's always got something to say. And so he goes up to her, and finally he brings his husband of 10 years out into the open. And then Aunt Butch has something to say. She goes, you know what? I'll even give you a little, because I can do that accent. She said, you know what, Frank? There's a whole bunch of people just like you in the next town. I've heard about them. Why don't you go over there? And he goes, well, I live in New York, so I actually am okay in that area. And she said, and she's going on, we love you. We still accept you. We still everything. But you know you're going to hell. But she said it with just matter of fact, you're gay, you're going to hell. And so I saw that look on the character's face. And he said this, I know that you are doing the very best that you are capable of. You are doing the very best that you are capable of. And when you really look at that from a place of, when I look at it in the place of the Nazis and in the story that this rabbi was telling, those guards' behavior, they were only doing what they believed was their truth and their training and their... Does that take away the feelings we have? No. Do we hope we learn from all of this? Yes. But let's take the light back into our own lives personally now. How many times do we have the opportunity to shine our light, to put our light out there so that we can see it? My question is, where are we shining our light? And when it goes dim, how's the opportunity we have? We are divine light. We are everything. And what I love about the story too, because it's not just a story, I love about that factual history that it said they overcame death. Just like in Catholicism and Christianity, when the idea of Jesus overcame death. Like, you can hang me, you can do whatever you want, but I'll never die. That's our promise that we know from ourselves. We will never die, we'll just transcend. So I have another wonderful quote, since I've cheered all of you and put you all in a dynamite mood, but I won't leave you that way. You know me, I'll give you a little something. My little Patrick end of something, something. But then again, even if I didn't, it's an okay place to be. As long as we don't stay there. Because for me, because I consider these people, the Jewish family, my family. I consider us all one family. And they even asked him, when you see these candles lit, the 8 candles, what do you see? And he says, if you stare at them long enough, they become one candle. They don't become separate candles. They become one candle. I love this Augmandino. Do we all remember this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person? Says this, I am nature's greatest miracle. I am not on this earth by chance. I am here for a purpose, and that purpose is to grow into a mountain, not to shrink to a grain of sand. Henceforth will I apply all my efforts to become the highest mountain of all, and I will strain, I love this, I will strain my potential until it cries for mercy. I will strain. That means that you're going to go all the way to the end of all of your potential and just go never stop till it goes, no, Patrick. Come on, how much bigger can we get? Much bigger. Much bigger. Isn't that true? I hope I didn't mess up too much today. My beautiful, beautiful grandmother here. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to put myself a little younger. Leave me alone. Oh, my gosh. So what does that have to do with the potluck? Well, not much. But I'll tell you what it does have to do with for me. That story really hit me because I really had the understanding. And here's the thing, why it's so different for me. I didn't spend my time feeling sorry or sympathy or poor people. I spent my time in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me and teaching me what I can do with the atrocities that I think are so important. Whether or not I forgot to get gas at Costco. Oh, my. Oh, how could I have done that as I drive home? Or you go drive down, and I guess we're not talking traffic any longer, are we? But my point is that this is an opportunity in the season of light to remember who and what we are. And I know that that is an opportunity that has come into my heart and has allowed me to speak from this place of empathy, understanding, but not sympathy. Feeling sorry. Please don't ever feel sorry for me, no matter what occurs in Reverend Patrick's life. Just understand me, love me. But you don't need to feel sorry for me because it doesn't do any bit of good for any of us. I love you. It's the season of light, season of love. I know you do. Thank you. This is a beautiful, beautiful time. That's why we have Kleenex, just so you know, little tissues by your. Have a beautiful namaste.
Namaste.
I'm not going to sit down. I'm just waiting for Rita's return.
Every Sunday's different. This is
As well as it should be,
as
right?
well as it should be. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for all your support for CSL Kauai, and thank you, Malama team, for assisting us as we just do our giving. All right, thank you, and thank you for singing a wonderful abundance song. Let's do it.
Blessed am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Fill it up with your voices. Blessed am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am.
All right, thank you. You got it?
Mahalo.
All right.
And now we continue with our gratitude. Giving is a spiritual act. And so in this moment, I give thanks for each gift here, not for the monetary amount, but for the level of spirit and love that has been shared by each person. I affirm blessings on these gifts as I give thanks. And so it is.
So it is.
But Deb, while you take that, could you just turn around and let people see you, because I'm going to talk about you after you're gone?
Why don't you? You can talk about her now.
No. There we go. So she's doing, yeah, you can go now. Look at Deb flies in. She's been gone for 2 years, comes in to do a book signing, do a workshop, and what's the first thing we go is, can you count the abundance for us and fill in with the malama? And so we love you, Deb. I'll talk very nicely about you while you're gone.
All right. Do you want to start there?
Are the children,
The children,
child?
I don't know what happened to the children. There was only one child, I think, too.
So we'll go on with this. Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh, yeah. When she
All
comes
right.
down, we'll...
Okay, so movie night.
Movie night.
Is now the 18th. Don't show up here on the last Sunday of the month. Come on the 18th if you want to see A Miracle on 34th Street, but make a reservation online for it if you want to come. It's already starting to fill up, which is great. It's the original Miracle on 34th Street, but the colorized version. Okay. And then Christmas Eve is at 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve, obviously, the 24th, and we'll do our Christmas Eve candlelight service,
yeah.
but it'll also be
Flyer
online
from Deb-
because, again, we
Deb
only have a
Valentine
limited
Foundation.
amount of spaces. So sign up for that online or in the e-blast when you get it. And then we're doing something special on New Year's Eve at 12 noon, but it's not going to be here. It's just going to be live streamed. Rob doesn't know about this yet. Okay.
Oh, he doesn't? No, we
doesn't.
told him.
We told him. Okay, so at 12 noon, we're going to do a ritual online. It's called Let Go, Release, and Renew 20, and it's going to be about letting go of 2020, letting go and releasing it, and it'll be like a celebration of life. That's the way we're looking at it, kind of like a memorial in a way, and welcoming in the new. And so it will be online only at 12 noon on New Year's. It'll be recorded so you can watch it and do the ritual on your own that night or whenever you want to do it. And then, why don't you talk about this?
Yes, I will. So Deborah Valentina is in town specifically to do a couple workshops, but one especially for us. And she just finished her book Beyond Chaos, and it's out. We've already read it. It's just absolutely wonderful. But what I want to really stress is, I can tell you all about her credentials and all blah blah blah. But what I do know about her is how powerful she is in everything that she has done, not only for us when she was here as a board member, as doing workshops for us here too. But this is a really, she took a lot of courage to write this book about Beyond Chaos, about her life and how she came through it, and how at the end of the day that there was power there. And she works a lot in the women's circles. But let me tell you something. After reading the book, every man should read it too. So there's two events going on. One is she's going to have a book signing that's free on Saturday. It'll be all out there for you this Saturday, January 2nd. From 10:30 to 12, and then on the 5th of January, she'll be doing her play shop, because she doesn't like the word workshop, and she does play shop, and it'll be a couple hours on that night too. And so please don't miss the opportunity, because she is leaving right after this is over, going back home. So she has a lot to offer, a lot to give, and that's it.
The flyers are in the bookstore, and so is the sign up. Right. Okay. And then just for the future, we are going to do the Power of Decision in January, a new version of it. It'll start on January 13th, and the information for that is in the bookstore.
And even
too.
if you've done it before, I remember Michelle
sure
LeMay, she took it on when she was on the road, and she said, did I take this before with you? And I said, yeah. She goes, I would never have known it, because and it changed her whole life. That's what got her in her workshop about this stuff really works, and really went on the road, and look where she's at now.
Yeah,
Florida.
She moved to Florida, everyone. If you didn't know that,
Has
I know.
a new
has a new
home and everything.
So, yeah, I know, right? Her life turned in a beautiful direction. Okay, and also for those of you online and those of you that have kids, our holiday party, Christmas party for the kids is going to be next Sunday. So again, it's reservation only. So if you would like to come to that, because we can only have a limited amount of spots, but come on up.
But I think, did you mention this part too, that's filling up very?
Yeah, I did.
About Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, come on up. We had one little godling today
And
named Beckham.
And before we even have a moment here, I want to tell you something. I thought of this morning when a couple of people weren't coming, Miss Janice. And I was thinking, we really have to take a moment to look at that. 7 years ago, this beautiful lady sat out every single service going, any kids? Any kids? Any kids? And then we started to grow and grow, but she was there. And that's kind of an example of life, that just because it doesn't show up, just because whatever that desire, whatever that manifestation doesn't show up, you just keep doing it. And when one comes, we call it the miracle in the room. Are you our miracle today, Beckham? I thought so.
Thank you, guys. It's been my pleasure, of course. And Beckham and I had fun since there was just one student. We got through a lot of stuff today. We did a meditation, we did a gratitude walk, we did some art, made a present, sang some songs, and planned for the party. So Beckham had some great ideas, and I know the kids will love what we planned. Beckham, would you like to say what you liked or tell about your picture?
We went on a walk, and we looked at the mountains, and we drawed them, and we made a present.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's wonderful.
Let's give Beckham his blessing. You ready?
Ready?
You get it all today. You are amazing. You are perfect. You are magnificent. And we love you. Yay. Thank you, Beckham.
Yay.
Yay. And
He's becoming
somebody
so
was
grown
asking the other day about being able to have prayer or
Oh,
treatment
yes.
after service. Reverend Diane is here. Roseanne is here. Well, she'll be out in a minute. Rob
Walt
is here.
is here.
You can still have a treatment after service. You just need to maybe go outside in order to do it.
And there's also the box.
Yeah, and the
there.
box is there. So there's always that opportunity to have a spiritual mind treatment. All right. So I think that's it, right?
That's it. And just a little favor. I'm not going to go into the thing. There was a couple of, I don't want to use the word complaints, that being out in the foyer, the whatever that's called out there, the walkway in front of businesses, they would like us to be a little more protective of them. So who knew? I want to
find a place to stand. I know
what it is that somebody was standing in front. Okay, standing in front of their door, and they didn't like the fact that the mask wasn't on. So they said, "Could you please appreciate it if you would not be without your masks out there, because this is a business as well." So I wanted to share that with you, so that
we're just trying to be nice.
Just remember, there are deeper places that we need to light our candles for the passerbys. There we go.
Yeah, you'll find a way to make it work. I know it.
We
are all intelligent. All right, I think we're ready.
What's this one?
It's been a good day.
What's this one, you two?
Oh, it's going to be.
Everyone knows this one. Mele Kaliki Maka, sing along. Mele Kaliki Maka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that we send to you from the land where palm trees sway. Here we know that Christmas will be green and bright. The sun will shine by day and all the stars by night. Mele Kaliki Maka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas to you.
So I am just so grateful for today and for everything that transpired here, knowing that we are uplifted and we take this out into the world and have a delicious potluck of the mind and count our blessings in every single solitary moment. And I want to thank everyone that helped today to make this possible, starting with Louise and Maureen, our beautiful Malama team, and Charles and Ron Stover, who were out front, and Ron, of course, who is always making sure everything is okay. And to Reverend Walt, thank you so much for your beautiful, amazing consciousness here. And Roseanne, thank you for what you do wherever you are right now, counting money, sitting next to your husband back there, making sure everything is going well. The bookstore, wow. And Rob, thank you. Mahalo, and thank you for putting the lights in. That was great. We appreciate you. And Jonathan, of course, we appreciate you. And Jeremy and Amy, we always appreciate when you're here. So thank you for joining us. All right. So let's take all this appreciation and gratitude and just bring it out into our lives, into this world, and lift consciousness everywhere we go. And so that's what I know and claim. And I just say mahalo as I release my word, as I let it go, as we affirm together. And so it is.
One more time, yeah? Mele Kaliki Maka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that we send to you from the land where palm trees sway. Here we know that Christmas will be green and bright. The sun will shine by day and all the stars at night. Mele Kaliki Maka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas, a very Merry Christmas, to say Merry Christmas to you.
Yay, and Happy Hanukkah too.
And Happy Hanukkah.